Hey everyone, welcome to the video. Over today's MLB main slate for today on DraftKings, the one that starts at 12 o'clock. I'm not going to be going over the late slate tonight. There's only, 3 games, so not my style there. But we have a nice 6-game slate, I believe it is, starting at 12, so I'm going to be going over that. Anyway, before we continue, if you could leave a like, subscribe to the channel, I really appreciate that. You can also follow me on Twitter at cpen_16. And if you want access to this cheat sheet and the pitching model and the hitting model, well, stuff you're going to need a lot of stuff on here. Should really help you out. Just follow me on Twitter, shoot me a DM, and I'll send it over to you. And anyway, let's get into this slate. So SP1 today for me is going to be Steven Strasburg. Really just the best pitcher on the slate with elite numbers all around, highest K rate. And the Mets lineup doesn't scare me too much outside of Alonso and Cano, but Cano also kind of got hurt. I know he was limping off, I think, last game, so that's even a more of a boost for Strasburg. So definitely like Strasburg today. The Mets have just been a pretty weak lineup overall, and Max Scherzer had a pretty good game versus them yesterday as well. And then Masahiro Tanaka, 9,300. So the Yankees should be able to get him the win here, I think, pretty easily versus the Orioles, who were rolling on Dylan Bundy. And there's not much bad to say about Tanaka. He's just a really good pitcher. He's probably more of a better real life pitcher, but he's still been pretty good for DFS, and he can get the strikeouts. But the Orioles lineup has been a little intimidating lately, so I think this is more of a GPP play, just because I'd rather spend up for Strasburg, and it's going to be kind of hard to fit in Strasburg and Tanaka if you're going to want to spend up on some of these bats. But I don't mind him at all if you want to roll with him. And then Jordan Lyles, 8,500. He's coming off a 12 strikeout performance, and he gets a matchup versus strikeout happy Rockies away from Coors Field in a pitcher's friendly park. So I'm not expecting 12 strikeouts again. I think Jordan Lyles can have a decent game. And then a catcher, Gary Sanchez, 5,600. He's on an absolute heater. And he's been crushing Orioles pitching, just like his buddy Gleyber Torres. And another matchup versus a home run prone righty who's giving up a ton of power to righties. I think he's giving up 260 ISO to right-handed bats. And Sanchez crushes right-handed pitching. So another awesome spot if you can afford him. I understand if you can't. There's a lot of other good options, but Sanchez is on fire. Then Yan Gomes, 3,200. He's cheap and facing a lefty, so I don't mind if you want to go there. And then JT Realmuto, 4,700. The wind's blowing out in Wrigley, and he's facing a lefty. And really, if you can't get any of these guys, just fill in as you go. I mean, catcher's not the most important position unless you're paying up for Sanchez. Then at first base, you have Kendrys Morales, 3,400. I've played him the last couple days, and he didn't play the one day, but he hasn't been doing that hot, but he's got to produce eventually, and Bundy can't strike out lefties, and Morales is in an excellent spot here, and he also has 2 career home runs versus Bundy, so don't mind him at all. And he's a good way to get cheap exposure to the Yankees. He's still below 3,500, and he has a really decent spot in the order as well, so definitely don't mind him. And then Justin Smoke, 3,900. Small sample, but Weber is allowing a 217 ISO to lefties, and he doesn't strike people out. I think he's got 11% K rate to lefties, which is bad. And then Rowdy Tellez, his teammate, really just the same exact reasons as Smoke, and he's just been hot with 3 homers in the past 2 games. Then at second base, we have Starling Castro, 2,700. I can see him being really popular again. I think he was like close to 70% yesterday. And Boyd's been good, but I love the price here for Castro versus lefty just a little bit more. And then Gleyber Torres, 5,400. I can't leave him off. He's been on fire just like Sanchez, and he's just been unfair to O's pitching this year. I think I read he had 10 home runs versus them this year, which is absolutely insane. And like I said earlier, Bundy to righties, and Gleyber is really good versus righties, pretty much just like Gary Sanchez. So definitely like the home run upside here. Then Michael Chavez, I don't know. At 5,400, you want to attack Richard with righties, and Chavez qualifies. He should be betting cleanup as well, so I think he's in an awesome spot, and I can see him going way under owned just because of Torres being the same exact price. Although he is third base eligible as well, though, so that might not be true. And then third base, Anthony Rendon, 5,700. I love playing Rendon versus Matz, and as he has 3 career home runs versus him. I think I've played him every single time he's had those. I think I've played him every single time he's homered versus him. So I'm pretty good at calling Rendon versus Matz, I guess. So just be aware of that. And he's got 323 ISO versus left-hand sinker, which is Matt's go-to pitch. So definitely like Rendon if you can afford him, but it's a good question if you can't afford him because it's going to be pretty tough. But we got some cheap options here too, like Brian Anderson, 3,200. He's still super cheap, and he hits high in the order, and will face a lefty, and he homered yesterday as well. So I don't mind him. And then DJ LeMahieu, 4,700. He's going to be leading off for the Yankees, and you guys get the idea. I like the Yankees. Then Gleyber Torres, we already talked about. And here's one of my favorite plays of the day, Trey Turner, 4,800. So if he gets on base, he's basically just a lock for a couple stolen bags versus Mats. Love him in this spot, and I think every time he's played Mats, I've played Turner against him, and he's usually done very well. I think one time he had 4 stolen bases against him. So if he gets on base, wouldn't be surprised if he steals second, then he steals third right after that. So definitely like Trey Turner. And then Xander Bogaerts, 5,000. As you can see, this is going to be a spend-up spot for me today. Most likely it's going to be Trey Turner. But I do love the righties versus Richard, and I also don't mind Segura or Sogard at this spot. In the high-priced outfield, Mookie Betts, 5,100. He's elite versus left-handed pitching, but he hasn't really showed it yet this year. But I think it could be coming today, and he's still one of the best in the league at a fair price of 5,100. Then Aaron Hicks, 4,500. He's got a decent price, and he's in a prime spot in the order versus Bundy, so just a cheaper Yankee. And then Starling Marte, 4,700. I can't imagine many people would go here. But Senzatella gives it more power to righties, and Marte has decent enough power and all-around stats versus righties, so I don't mind that. And then in the mid-range outfield, Andrew McCutchen, I'm going to guess he's going to be very popular today, 4,200. He had a great game yesterday, and he gets to face another lefty with the wind blowing out in Wrigley, so nothing not to like there. Nick Castellanos, 4,100. So Richards is a reverse splits pitcher. He gives it more power to righties, and that Tigers lineup's chock full of righties, so I think he could be in maybe some trouble today. And so Castellanos is our best bet for production from this lineup. Then Kyle Schwarber, I realize that's not how you spell Schwarber, but 3,700. Nola hasn't been the best versus lefties this season, and we have the wind blowing out for Schwarber as he should be leading off again. So nothing not to like about Schwarber. Let me fix this. Okay. And then in the cheap outfield, we have Brian Anderson, where he talked about Steve Pearce, 3,100. He's very cheap, and he's going to be another righty versus Richard, and Pearce has great career numbers versus lefties. I know he hasn't been that good this year at all, but don't mind him here. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he used to play for Toronto. So we got a nice little revenge narrative there, if that's true. I think it is. So. And then Garrett Cooper, 3,000. If he's sitting near the top of the order, I don't mind him either. A lot of these Marlins are good one-offs at a cheap price. Go to some of the core plays. So we have Steven Strasburg. I think you're going to pretty much have to pay up for him as SP1. I think he's far and away the clear number 1 pitcher of the slate. And then there's plenty of value to get some good bats in. Like all those Marlins guys are just really cheap. And then Sterling Castro, 2,700. Going to be using him at second base. It's a pretty weak position overall outside of Torres, but you can put him in at shortstop if you want to play him anyway. So I can see Castro being very popular today. Then Trey Turner, I left his spot at 4,800. Impactful weather. Everything looks good. Just the wind's blowing out in Wrigley, so I guess I could probably just put that because that is impactful. Okay. And then the top stacks for me today are going to be the Yankees, the Nats, the Red Sox, and the Phillies and Cubs. So anyway, guys, that's all I have for the video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Follow me on Twitter at cpen_16, and then you can ask me for the hitting and pitching model, and you got all these cool stats on here. It really helps me out during the day to, make my cheat sheet, make my lineups. Everything is in one spot. It's all color coded, so pretty simple. And then yeah, if you're playing golf today, like I am, wish you guys the best of luck. And I know if you played Paul Casey, he's doing pretty good at the moment. I don't know too much about golf, but wish you guys the best of luck. And if you're going to be playing baseball slate today, which I assume you are because you're here, good luck today as well.